Nothing is coveted in the NBA more than a two-way player with size, especially one that can score from anywhere on the court. The best way for a franchise to rebuild and rise to the top is drafting a prospect with the potential to be a two-way superstar, someone who has the drive to be one of the best in the league. The Celtics knew who that guy was in the 2017 NBA draft, and because of the Brooklyn Nets trade in 2014, they had the #1 pick that year. The Celtics front office did their homework and were able to add another first-round pick to their arsenal by trading back 2 spots and still drafting one of the best players in the draft, Jayson Tatum. He was just a cut above the rest when it comes to offensive skill set in that draft class. But the buzz during his freshman season went mostly to point guards, Markelle Fultz and Lonzo Ball. But the Celtics knew who the best player was. They drafted the same type of player back in 1998.
With the 10th pick in the 1998 NBA draft, the Boston Celtics select Paul Pierce from the University of Kansas.
Another player around 6'7", 6'8", that can carry the load offensively and hold his own on defense. Paul Pierce was the Celtics franchise player for 15 years, and as they added a few more pieces in Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen, Pierce helped lead the Celtics to a championship in 2008, the first Celtics championship since 1986. They are hoping that history will repeat itself. Jayson Tatum's rise is a surprise to no one who watched him grow as a teenager. He had the confidence, the work ethic, and most importantly, the game. In his rookie season in the Eastern Conference playoffs, he introduced himself to the NBA with a play against the best player in the league.
Celtics with 67 points with 6:45 remaining. Tatum drives down and throws it down! Wow!
He really put himself on the map in front of a national audience that day. If you didn't know before then, you knew right after that Jayson Tatum will be a problem in the NBA in the future. 2 years later, at 22 years old, he was just selected as an All-Star for the first time, and we all saw top 5 player potential in the month of February. He won Player of the Month for the first time in his career. Whether you believe that Giannis or Bradley Beal deserved it more is a story for another day. Jayson Tatum is coming, but he did have a setback in his sophomore season. With Kyrie and Gordon Hayward returning to the lineup, Tatum didn't have as many opportunities to fight through his offensive struggles. He went from the 6th most touches last season to 2nd most this season. Kyrie wasn't the only problem with the Celtics, but he was the biggest problem. And last offseason, the Celtics brought in a similar player offensively, but one that didn't mind sharing the spotlight and even possibly allowing Tatum to be the Celtics' go-to guy, Kemba Walker. Walker has not only allowed Tatum to shine and be the best version of himself, but he has also allowed Jaylen Brown to be an all-star level player. The Celtics not only have one two-way wing, but they have 2. And the Celtics are looked at as one of the top contenders once again as they gear up for the last 2 months of the season. Tatum was known for shooting bad shots and settling in his sophomore season, and the offense didn't have any flow to it compared to this season. He needed to mix up his approach by attacking the basket more. With Kemba Walker out with an injury, Tatum has become deadly in the pick and roll. The opposing teams have been sending double teams at Jayson, which proves the effect he has had. In the month of February, Tatum is averaging around 30 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block per game, while shooting 51% from the field and 50% from three-point range. And he didn't just take a couple of threes a game. He shot almost 9 threes per game, which is absolutely ridiculous. The only other Celtic to average 30 points per game on 50% shooting in a single month in the three-point era, Larry Bird. Those are superstar numbers for any player, let alone a 22-year-old in his 3rd year. And those numbers hasn't come at the expense of winning. The Celtics were 9-2 in February as they beat good teams like the Clippers, OKC, Philly, and the Utah Jazz. Now that we've seen Jayson Tatum do it for a whole month, we expect similar numbers for a whole season. Now 50% from 3 is not expected, but he has shown he can be efficient. At the beginning of the season, even with the addition of Kemba Walker, not too many people looked at the Celtics as a legit championship contender. With the joy and the love that the Celtics are playing with this season, along with Tatum's confidence at an all-time high, the Celtics are one of the teams you wouldn't be surprised with if they are playing in the NBA Finals in June.
Well, Kobe's got his stroke. See if he can add to it.
Yes, he does. You talked about him being in one of those zones.
Yeah.
He's definitely in it right now. Here's Kobe again. Yes, sir. For three again. Yes! 70 points for Kobe. Kobe's got the Laker record. History tonight at Staples Center.